Here's an example of solving an equation in two different ways. One of them we're going to solve it by just converting it to its alternate form, and the other way is by using its inverse function. So here we have e to the x is equal to 5. Now if I was going to change it to its alternate form, I would just change it into a logarithmic equation. Again, the base is e, so we would start off with log base e of the number opposite of it, which is 5, and is equal to x. So here we have actually solved for x, we've gotten it by itself. Log base e again is just ln, so we're going to get x is equal to ln of 5. Perfectly fine answer. You can use your calculator to get a solution. The other way of solving this would be using an inverse function, and the inverse function of e to the x is ln of x. So what we would do is we would take our original equation, e to the x is equal to 5, and we would ln both sides. So we're going to ln the right hand side and ln the left hand side and ln the right hand side. On this side, ln of e to the x, that's an inverse function, so all you're going to be left with is the x. Another way of looking at it is we could also use a property of logarithms. We can pull the x out front, and we'll have ln of e left behind, and that'll be equal to ln of 5. And ln of e is just equal to 1, and 1 times x is x. So either way you want to look at it, you can look at it as a type of cancellation between inverse functions, leaving you with just plain old x, or you can pull the x out front and recognize that ln of e is just equal to 1 because the base of both of them is exactly the same. So finally we're going to get down to x equals ln of 5. So this just gives you two options of solving an equation. Similarly, we could do it starting off with a logarithm and solving it by changing it to alternate form or using an inverse function. Here we have log base 3 of x is equal to 2. If we're going to change it to its alternate form, then the concentration should be on the base. The base is 3. The power is going to come from the other side, so it's going to be 3 squared, and it's going to be equal to what's left over, the x. So here we're getting x is equal to 9. Rewrites are sometimes very good at solving these equations. Not always, but a lot of the times it's pretty good. If we want to use an inverse function, it gets a little weird looking, but still doable. We'll have our log base 3 of x is equal to our 2 over here. Now the inverse function of log base 3 is the exponential 3 to the power of. So we're going to use 3 as the base and the power as the log base 3 of x. This one is the one that most people don't like using. And then on the other side, we're also going to use 2 as the exponent on a base 3. So here we have 3 raised to the log base 3 of x is equal to 3 squared. Well, the 3 log base 3 is basically going to cancel, and all you're left with on that side is just plain old x. And it's going to equal the other side, which is 3 squared, which is 9. And notice we're getting the same answers whether we use the alternate form or whether we use the inverse function. And that's it. Pretty nice.